Hello, there, everybody. Welcome back to the Real Bros podcast. I'm your host, Logan Thomas, and with me, as always, is my most excellent co-host,
Caden Green.
and together we are
The Real Bros.
Caden, what are we talking about today?
Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I could not remember that part. I have my notes all over the place.
Let me just say, because we were watching these and we decided to just...
Do two movies at once.
Yeah. So, let's just say our notes are a little bit... We promise to give you the best experience you can get out of the Real Bros podcast.
Yeah, we'll give you the best that we can try to give you.
Yeah. You have the Real Bros guarantee.
No.
So this was a first time watch for you.
Yes.
What were your thoughts?
It was an Indiana Jones movie.
It's accurate.
Which, like the other ones, it was pretty good. I think this one definitely had a lot more, like, sequences of action.
Mm-hmm.
Especially compared to some of the other ones that we've seen.
There's definitely more CGI in this one.
But I do want to say that the action sequences themselves, they not only seem to be more frequent, but they also seem to last longer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. But I hate to tell you, series only goes down from here.
Which, I mean, realistically, we have one more movie.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's too many. This is like the last two don't exist to a lot of people in like their head canon or whatever. To me, this is the last good one. Now, I have issues with Dial of Destiny, but I can look through some of those issues. This one is one of my favorites.
And I can understand why.
This one definitely leans more into comedy than other ones. Even more so than I think than Last Crusade.
See, if it did, I missed that completely.
And by comedy, I mean more like the more like quippy and stuff.
Yeah. See, I did pick up on that, but like actual comedic moments, I didn't notice really any.
It's really well written comedy to where like it just like blends in with a lot of the other stuff, so it just feels like it's naturally gonna be there. This was the one that I grew up with because I was 8 when this one came out, and so like I had all the little action figures and stuff for this one, and when the DVDs of the first 3 I had all had trailers for this one.
Really?
On them on the DVD.
Hmm.
So every time I'd put one in my little portable DVD player and lay on the floor and watch Indiana Jones, there'd be a trailer for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That's the first thing that came up on all of them.
And little 8-year-old you was like, "Oh, that looks so cool!"
And I didn't get to go see it in theaters. So, yeah, that's the only downside about the experience of this movie that I have.
The only downside I had of watching this movie is I had to watch it with Logan.
Ditto. Oh, I mean, no, we love watching movies together.
Yeah.
There's a reason why this show exists.
Exactly.
And why we keep doing it. For you guys.
Yes.
Caden, if there's anything else you want to add before we get into the quick review?
Like we've said in all of our other episodes up until this point, if you haven't seen the movie, I highly recommend you go watch it. Very good movie. It's one of those movies that you may turn your brain off to, but then you're like, oh, well, that's something that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'll turn my brain back on.
Yeah, like any of the Indiana Jones movies, I can just turn on and just chillax and watch them.
Now, see, I will give a little depth into Dial of Destiny. I turned my brain off for most of it, as you know.
Yeah, that's because that movie doesn't have much brain power.
It really didn't.
It's not interesting.
No, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
We are on Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Mm-hmm.
So, anything you want to add?
Definitely go see this movie. If this is the last Indiana Jones movie you watch, you will be completely satisfied with it. It definitely bookends all of them.
Yeah.
But like I said, the fifth one does, it adds, it's like a nice little epilogue to it. You know what I mean?
Something that wasn't really needed.
No. But like if this is the last one you watch, you should be satisfied if you like the Indiana Jones formula.
Yeah.
But other than that, let's get into it.
All right. So, starting off with the quick review. When was this movie made, and what was it rated?
It came out in 2008, and it's PG-13.
Okay. So, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull follows Indiana Jones, shockingly,
What?
as he goes, for the most part, across the world looking for an ancient Mayan crystal
Mm-hmm.
skull to help save one of his friends.
Yep.
And that's
Say it's a pretty straightforward movie, like the third one.
yeah. I can't really go into much more detail without being like, oh, yeah, that's a pretty big.
Yeah, literally everything else is.
Everything matters.
Yeah. All right. So, are we ready to get into production tales?
Yes, sir.
All right. Back when George Lucas and Steven Spielberg back in '79 first came up with the idea and everything for Indiana Jones, and we've talked about this, Paramount Pictures made a deal with them for 5 films.
Okay.
After Last Crusade, George Lucas was like, I'm happy with it. I'm done. I don't want to make a fourth one. And that's mostly because he couldn't think of anything to push the story forward.
Right.
And so that's when he started producing the prequel TV show, The Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, which I have watched most of the first season of. It's a pretty good show. It's a very lengthy show. Like the episodes are like an hour and a half long. They're like mini movies. But they're definitely interesting if you want to get deep into the lore of Indiana Jones and like what his early life was like and what it was like for him in World War One. That's like the thing they don't really talk about is like he served in both World Wars.
Yes.
And that's like how he met and how he traveled the country at such a young age. He traveled the world as a kid with his father. Like they don't really get into that in the films because they don't really have the time or the story doesn't need it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's where the show came into place. I would definitely watch it if you're an Indiana Jones fan. If you want to get deep in there, in the lore and everything, check it out. It's on Disney Plus in the Indiana Jones collection. And then he started working on that. And Harrison Ford came back, and he did one episode of the show in like for like a narration point of view or whatever.
Okay.
And then he felt like playing the trilogy was enough, and he wouldn't rule out working with Lucas and Spielberg again. And then Dark Horse Comics came out with a Indiana Jones comic book line.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some of those on Amazon, I think. I wouldn't mind having them, but I don't want to pay for them.
Fair enough.
Because like most of the comic books I have that you can see, most of those are gifts. The only ones I bought myself are the Creepshow ones.
Hmm.
And that's because I had Christmas money. But George Lucas eventually came up because he took the 1930s Saturday matinee serials. Those were the influences of Star Wars and Indiana Jones. And George Lucas felt that B movies such as like Thing from Another World or It Came from Outer Space could give them a whole new film genre to play with and add new texture to the story. So like Aliens, like Close Encounters, E.T., that kind of stuff. And originally George Lucas was against it. He didn't want to bring aliens and stuff into Indiana Jones. Which means like that's understandable. Cause like on one hand you have the guy who wrote Star Wars.
Yeah.
And a guy who like had been doing alien films. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're both good in that genre. But like Indiana Jones is like that one little slice where like they don't have to go there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like they've tackled like magic ish stuff. They've tackled religion. They've tackled cult stuff.
Paranormal, right? Or would you be able to classify that as like religion?
I would say it's I would say it's religious because like they definitely root everything that Indiana Jones had done at that point was rooted heavily in religion.
Right.
Because religious artifacts like the Ark of the Covenant, the Holy Grail, even Kali and all that stuff, that's Indian religion. That's Buddhism, I believe. If I'm wrong, I apologize. Perceiving that, so I don't want to read this. Lucas finally came up with the idea of extra-dimensional beings, interdimensional beings. So they're not like saucermen from Mars. Even though that's exactly what they were. Yeah. And so Steve Spielberg didn't want to do aliens anymore.
Right.
That was his main argument. And he didn't think there was any kind of artifact that would justify there being aliens in history or whatever. And Lucas always wanted to have, excuse me, Indiana Jones get married or whatever. So you were trying to think of things that could bring Senior back in like a small capacity or whatever.
Right.
And then Lucas learned that Joseph Stalin was interested in psychic warfare. And so that's when he got kind of like on the idea of Nazis. No, sorry,
Communist.
Russians. And it pretty much just sat there for the longest time. In the early 2000s, in an interview, Spielberg had said that his children constantly asked when the next Indiana Jones movie would come out, and the project would soon be revived that same year. When all three of them, that's Lucas, Spielberg, and Harrison Ford, got together with Frank Marshall and Kathleen Kennedy, and they pretty much were like, "Hey, let's make another one." Because I guess when you're haven't done it in like 15 years, I guess you miss it. I guess.
I mean, that's understandable. I mean, look at us. We went on a couple month break in between seasons, and we were bored.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So it's very fair assessment to make, honestly.
And Spielberg was happy to do it because at that point he had made darker films like AI, Artificial Intelligence, Minority Report, movies like that. And then Lucas convinced Spielberg to use aliens by the plot by saying they were not extraterrestrials, they were interdimensional beings. By this concept taking inspiration in the super string theory.
Super string theory.
Yep. I'm not going to get into what super string theory is. I'm not a physicist. I'm not a theoretical physicist.
We're just two guys sitting in an office talking about a movie.
Pretty much.
There's no pretty much about it, buddy. Word for word, that's what it is.
But Spielberg and Lucas were like, the idea of a B movie being the base of this film is a must. Because it'd be taking place in the 50s. Cold War was going on. Just all of it would just feel right for Indiana Jones.
Yeah. And it does.
And so they had Frank Darabont, who wrote various Young Indiana Jones episodes. He was hired to write the script in May of 2002. His script was entitled Indiana Jones and the City of Gods.
Ooh.
This script did not involve Russians. It involved ex-Nazis pursuing Jones. Excuse me. Spielberg conceived the idea because in real-life figures such as Juan Perón in Argentina, who protected Nazi war criminals. Darabont claimed Spielberg loved the script, but Lucas had issues with it and decided to take over writing himself. What a surprise. And pretty much he changed everything into what we got today. And it was obviously
not a bad change.
No. Originally the subtitle was Destroyer of Worlds.
That's a Godzilla title, isn't it?
I don't know. You're the Godzilla guy.
What am I thinking of? Destroyer of Worlds.
You mean like War of the Worlds?
No.
That's another B movie with aliens in it, ladies and gentlemen.
I know, but isn't there? All right, just keep talking. I'll look it up.
Okay. But Spielberg changed it to Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and Lucas insisted on the Kingdom part. Okay. I mean, it's understandable. It is essentially a kingdom, but yeah. George Lucas pretty much changed everything the way he wanted it, and that's pretty much the film we got. Filming started in June 18th of 2007 in New Mexico. They did a lot of Caden's got something.
Destroyer of Worlds. The reason it sounds so familiar is because it's that Oppenheimer quote. So now I've become death, destroyer of worlds.
Oh yeah.
It had nothing to do with Godzilla, except I was thinking of Destroya.
I mean, you could kind of say Oppenheimer has something to do with Godzilla.
Shut up.
They did
Shut up.
drop a nuke on Godzilla.
Shut it up. I hate you for that.
You're welcome.
You're not gonna sit there and tell me some dude that created the nuclear bombs is the godfather of Godzilla.
He's the father Ozilla.
Shut up.
It's all connected, man.
You anger me. I hope you realize this. Right, but as you were saying.
That was a good one. That's a good one. We need to put that in the Patreon. It totally exists.
Oh yes.
Shooting concluded in October 12th of 2007. So they shot for about 4 or 5 months.
That's not.
It's not a terrible shoot at all.
No.
They did a lot of on location shooting.
Okay.
A lot of Hawaii.
Hopefully nobody was injured.
They shot in Argentina's Iguazu Falls for the waterfall shots.
Man, I'm sure those shootings really brought up crime rates.
Oh, Lord. But other than that, it pretty much went smooth.
That's good.
But they did face a small lawsuit.
Oh?
So in late 2012, then this was after Lucasfilm was purchased by Disney and stuff. They were sued by using the Mitchell Hedges skull likeness in the film.
Oh.
The
Yeah.
the elongated cranium. They were sued for that likeness.
Really?
It says right here, in late 2012, the director of the Institute of Archaeology of Belize, Dr. Jaime Awe, sued Lucasfilm, Disney, and Paramount Pictures on behalf of the country Belize for using the Mitchell Hedges skull's likeness in the film. Awe claimed that if the Mitchell Hedges skull was actually found in Belize, then it had been stolen from his country, and the defendants were profiting off of its likeness. Interesting.
See, I don't.
I don't understand. Well, I'm not a law student, so
I'm not either, and I'm not gonna comment on it.
we're acknowledging that it happened.
Yeah.
Caden, how much money do you think this movie? Okay, right. Let me start. We haven't done this in a minute. I got this.
Do ya?
No. The budget for this movie was $185 million.
Okay.
That's a chunk of change.
That is.
How much money do you think this movie made?
About 684 million.
Close.
Really?
It's higher.
Oh. 687?
Higher.
692.
You give up?
Yes.
$786 million.
Oh yeah, really close. You're off by about 100 million.
Hey. It's better than being at like 5 million off.
Say that again. Say that again.
I heard it. 500 million off.
Oh yeah, it's better to be 500.
It's been a long day, okay? Don't give me that look.
Anyway. Now, is that worldwide? Is that localized? What is that?
It didn't give me any world numbers. It was just giving the United States numbers.
Oh.
But I'm not going to get into it. I'm just giving you what it gives me.
Which isn't a whole lot
No, it is not.
for once.
I know usually they give me all the numbers in the world, but whatever.
It is what it is. We're not going to complain too much.
Try not to. I don't want OBS to get mad at me. Or Google or anybody else.
Now, if they get mad, let them.
Yeah, then we come in here, our stuff don't work. But whatever.
That's why we have backup stuff.
Caden,
Yes.
are we ready to get into our spoiler review?
I don't know. Are we?
I'm not. That's why I was asking you.
If you haven't seen the movie already, this is your second and final warning. Go check it out. It's a very good movie. It's very action-packed, good moments.
Mm-hmm.
Got a really good twist in it, too.
It does. I definitely think that this is Harrison Ford's best acting
Oh, yeah.
up to this point. I like the side characters a lot in this one
Absolutely.
because we got new characters like,
Mutt.
excuse me, Mac, and we got Harold Oxley in the team. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons I like this one the most is because it's like a team thing and not just Indy, a friend, and a woman. But
That is the most accurate description of any Indiana Jones movie.
you got Indy, you got one other person, maybe two, maybe, and one woman. This you got like a unit, man. That's why, like, for so much I was writing Team Indy in some of my notes. But
See, I Really, all I have is Mac, Mutt, and Indy. Which, yeah, I know there's one other really important character
Mm-hmm.
comes in later, but
Because Ox doesn't really do much.
no, he's
He is
just
comic relief.
he is, and I love that.
All right, Kate, are we ready to get into it?
Sir, yes, sir. Let's get it rolling.
All right. The
All right,
film
all right, all
starts.
right.
Wow. All right, everybody, we're going to edit that. Edit it in your brains that we didn't just overlap there for a minute. Backtrack about 20, 30 seconds. All right. And now press play. The film starts with groundhog with the Paramountain and a groundhog coming out of it. What did you think of this Paramountain transition?
I didn't actually see it. You started it before I was fully ready.
You're blaming me, as per usual.
Yep.
I say this one's the weakest one out of all of them, just because how can you top that first one, right? The second one was all right, only because they actually like etched the Paramountain on the gong. I guess you can't get much more accurate than that, I suppose.
Yeah.
Um, but we have some hot rod kids jamming to Elvis, run over this Paramountain, and they're bopping. They're just driving fast on the dirt and on this abandoned highway in the middle of nowhere,
They're just relaxing, kind of.
as 50s kids did.
Just chilling for the most part.
Yeah, challenging the army to a hot rod race. You know how it is. You see an army convoy, you're like, "Hey man, you want to go? What you got under there?"
Let's see what you got.
And they actually do race them for a little bit,
Yeah.
but the kids win because the other guys were turning. And you had a special note about this.
So, me and Logan are very big fans of a game called Fallout, which is pretty much you wake up 100 years after nuclear fallout. They turn onto a kind of T turn
Mm-hmm.
with a sign reading Atomic Cafe, and I thought it was really cool.
You think they sell Nuka Cola there?
Probably not.
Man, they don't have anything good out of the Atomic Cafe. We need Atomic Cafe shirts. I don't know why. I just feel like we do. New merch line coming soon.
Absolutely not.
Why? Because you're going to be the one making them.
No.
You mean you're not good at that t-shirt making skills?
No.
Oh. Sorry. Well, now they're expecting it. Get to work.
Well, their expectations are too high.
Just go buy Fallout merchandise. It's about the same thing.
Pretty much.
Then we get to a guard shack, and the guards say that the facility is closed for weapons testing for the day. And one of the colonels gets out of his car and ties his shoelaces, and they just start shooting the guards.
Yeah. They've been bamboozled.
What? In America? Unbelievable.
Never heard of it.
Nope. And so they drive on through and they get to a warehouse. Caden, where are we?
In America. In our studio.
Ah.
Oh, you meant in the movie?
Yeah.
Area 51.
So
while he regains his composure, Area 51 is where a lot of the artifacts that Indiana Jones has collected over the years is currently stored. One of the notable ones that we end up seeing later on in the scene is the Ark of the Covenant.
that was a seamless transition. That was applause to you, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Um,
I have my moments.
yeah. And so these soldiers open up one of their trunks and they pull out a man named Mac, and George McHale is his full name, and they pull out Indy. And in this shot, they throw like his hat on the ground, and he has him put his hat on, and he's like against the car, and all you see is like the silhouette. Chills.
What? Okay, I do have one complaint, and it's with the lighting in this scene.
Go ahead.
So let's say the cars,
Mm-hmm.
they're lined up at the front doors of the hangar for Area 51. You're standing with your back to the doors. The sun is coming at the hangar doors. I want to know why every part of them was lit up then if they were going for a realistic look.
And we talked about this when we were watching the movie. My best guess is they were going for that 50s movie look of like, cuz like even like the background, like the sky and everything looks like it's like one of those like paintings or whatever that they used to have on sets and stuff.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can in my mind help make it make sense, cuz like then it kind of adds to it a little bit, because like they're going for the full 50s B movie look and
Right.
vibe and stuff. So I think that definitely helps. Um, but then we meet our villain, Dr. Irena Spalko, and we realize these are Russians we're dealing with today, not Germans. Nice change of pace.
For once.
And also, it fits the formula of how the even-numbered Indiana Jones movies don't have Nazis in them, but everyone else does.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. You had mentioned that every even Indiana Jones movie, so second and fourth, don't involve Nazis.
And the other three do.
And it's so weird to think about it like that, because what? Are they just getting tired of making Nazis the bad guy?
I think it's more of they're always saying, well, we don't want to use Nazis again. Then the next one, they're like,
Let's use Nazis again.
it's either just lazy writing or the fact that it's the easiest group of people to hate in history.
Oh, one of.
It gives them a writing reason to have so much like carnage and stuff and people for him to punch.
Oh, absolutely.
They don't have to worry about like, well, we're gonna need numbers here.
Let's make them Nazis.
Yep, we can have an army of it. Like it, love it, ship it.
We got like 400,000 Nazis right now. Just get rid of them all. Don't care how you do it. Nuclear blast, God's wrath. Doesn't matter. Just get rid of them.
Like you'll have your shipment of 40,000 Nazis by the end of the day. Do with them as you will. Rage rooms across America are now lining up with new Nazi mode, ladies and gentlemen.
Jeez.
I mean, technically, I do it myself. Whenever I go in the VR and play Blade and Sorcery, I turn on the Cure for Fascism.
Oh my god.
It makes me feel the most like Indiana Jones, because like sometimes they'll come out in like with like swords or like the magic stuff or just like Nazi weapons. I just start punching them, and in my head, I just hear the Indiana Jones theme song.
Shocker.
Hey, it's immersion, man.
Oh, is that what we're calling it now?
I tried to, yeah. All right, we're opening up Area 51,
Yes.
And Dr. Spalko, she wants some form of crate that Indy found 10 years prior.
Yeah.
She says it's a highly magnetized casket, and inside are mummified remains.
Which, seeing just how magnetized it really is crazy.
Yeah, because he like throws like gunpowder in the air, and it's like a cloud of moving gunpowder and stuff.
It, ugh,
Well,
inter-
when go ahead.
interesting to think that in that universe there's something that magnetic. Because it was at least a good 30 yards.
Oh yeah, at least.
But, sorry for interrupting.
Mm,
But the one thing I want to say is that I find it so funny that the warehouse is cut in the hallways, kind of, because of how the boxes are stacked. The gunpowder turns corners. Like, it doesn't go over anything, it goes one direction and then makes a sharp turn.
we're not looking for like the intense science here. We're looking to have some fun.
But that is fun.
It is true. Um, and this point, we open up this casket, and Caden, where is? Oh, you probably don't have this in your notes. But this box, it says Roswell, New Mexico.
Yes.
That's like supposed to be like the place where all the alien stuff happens.
Oh, okay.
If that helps.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it until I seen it a couple watches ago. And I thought that was a really neat little addition. But like the guy's like glasses just like fly off of his face and like magnetize on the thing or whatever. Um, in this point, Indy is being held at gunpoint, and he's watching them open up this thing, and he like takes a guy's gun and just punches him in the face with it. With like he just like pushes it up in his face and takes his whip back.
Which, that's probably the most dangerous part, is when Indy gets a whip.
Oh yeah. Um, he like grabs another guy's gun and like pulls it to him, so he's like holding these guys at gunpoint. It's like, all right, let me go, and nobody needs to get hurt.
Because he was specifically aiming at
The Dr. Spalko.
yeah, Spalco. And they all lower their guns, and then I want to say like the second in command,
Mm-hmm.
he raises his gun, starts smiling, and so does everyone else. Cuts back to Indy, camera pan. There's Mac holding him at gunpoint.
And this is where your hatred of Mac begins.
Yes.
Caden, give it to us.
I hate Mac.
Oh.
I'm just gonna start there because if I go any further, I will start spoiling stuff. But pretty much, we come to find out that Mac is a double agent, so he's working with the KGB now,
Mm-hmm.
and he's doing it for the money.
Oh yeah.
Which I bring this up quite a lot. Indy's main purpose is to put stuff in a museum
Mm-hmm.
that belongs in a museum. And oftentimes, if you pay close attention, he kind of has pretty strong disdain towards people that are just wanting money out of it.
Oh, absolutely. Because he realizes that he was like that at one point.
Yeah.
And I think that definitely helps him stay on like his moral compass,
Yeah.
essentially, because he's overcome that part of his life.
Right.
But Indy gets away, and there's like a whole warehouse chase with like him driving into a bunch of crates, and like, and this is where the Ark of the Covenant shows up.
Yep.
And it like explodes against a bunch of guys, and I told Caden, it's like, I hate to have them splinters.
Yeah, it was,
The splinters would just be like a board in your face.
honestly, that'd probably be less painful.
Yeah, you'd be dead. And then he like climbs up in the rafters, and then he like, um, he, him and the second in command, I think his name is Kravchenko or something,
Something like that.
and they're fighting on a rocket car.
Oh, I looked into this. Okay, so this rocket car isn't a car. You're dumb for that.
Oh, sorry, it's a train.
Yes, and I know you told me about this, but I'm taking over.
That's fine.
It is called the E-Mach 72. Now, me and Logan talked about this. There is no physical way that train car would get up to Mach 72 in about the 10 seconds that it was going.
Say the tracks weren't even near long enough for it to be able to gain that kind of speed.
Which, just for reference, Mach 72 is 55,243 miles an hour. That's a lot of G-force. But at the end of it, the Russian guy is like disoriented, which is understandable. Somehow Indy just gets up after a couple seconds, barely phased by it.
You know what that is?
Plot armor.
the the entire basis of the Indiana Jones franchise.
Yep.
Like, and I still stand by it. There is no other character in cinema history that's had as much plot armor besides maybe Batman. If that. But after this rocket train car, we find Indy has found a little town in the middle of the desert. This is another Fallout reference. Even a call out to
It's not a reference.
Mm.
Instead, when did this game come out? Or when did this movie come out?
2008.
2008. So, there is a game franchise called Call of Duty. In it, there is a multiplayer map called Nuketown. At the end of the map, no matter who wins or who loses, the map gets nuked. And I am led to believe that that is a reference to this movie.
So, because it's like a perfectly made 50s town. Indy's like, there's like no running water. There's like fake food and stuff in there. And it's populated by mannequins. These mannequins are freaky looking mannequins.
They're mannequins from that era.
Freaky. But he's all like, this can't be good. And then it just zooms out and you just see a giant nuke.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, this can't be good at all.
And this is another gripe I have that was disproven long after the movie came out. A lead-lined refrigerator will not save you from the blast of a nuke when it is happening roughly a mile away from you. Yeah, it may save you from the radiation, but that's the least of your problem when you're facing thousands of degrees of heat, concussive force that can knock over buildings.
And being thrown about 100+ feet.
Yeah, if you somehow survive the heat, the initial shockwave, you're going to have to survive getting tumbled around in a lead-lined refrigerator at probably a good 20, 30 miles an hour.
Yeah. But you know what? Plot armor helps, ladies and gentlemen.
It does, but this next part wasn't plot armor because
It's just poor writing.
No, he gets out of the fridge, stands up, and looks at the mushroom cloud. Like, oh yeah, he's gonna get cancer in 40 some years. Probably not because, or at least not as bad because the next scene we see, he's getting cleaned off.
Yeah, he's getting a radiation bath or whatever.
Yeah. I don't actually know how effective that would be.
It was the 50s. I'm sure they believed it worked. Then Indy's interrogated by the FBI because, Cold War.
They got involved in a lot of things.
Yeah, they were all like asking if he was worthy of all those war medals he got and everything.
And
Oh, yeah, bring up your general thing.
oh god. Okay, so during this interrogation, a general comes in named General Ross.
Bob Ross, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I did not know that part. But for those of you that are Marvel movie fans or Marvel fans in general, there's a character named General Ross who is also the Red Hulk. In the most recent Captain America movie, Harrison Ford plays Red Hulk slash General Ross.
Harrison Ford's just stealing identities now.
Which I made that connection. It had no relevance to anything, but I thought it was a funny connection to have.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Um, there was something else about this scene that we talked about that was funny.
Mm.
I don't know. We talked about a lot of funny things.
Talked
Anywho,
We talked about a lot of things,
that's true.
just in general.
Yeah. Anywho, that after that, the movie kind of takes how normal Indiana Jones movies take. Like it has like the little prequel part in it, or like it's this little isolated story.
Yeah.
Then we're dropped right back at Barnett College. Going through the motions like normal. Sadly, Marcus Brody has passed away. He's no longer the guy who walks through the door anymore. Sad. But we're all good here because we got Charlie. This is his only appearance. Never heard from him again. Never see him again. He comes in and says the FBI was ransacking his office, going through all of his files and everything, and that he's fired.
Oh, how fun.
And of course, Indy is not happy with this news. And he was like, don't be upset because I had to go through something terrible to get that for you. And he's like, what did you have to go through, Charlie? He's like, I resigned.
Mm.
And so then we get a little scene of Indy at home packing as he's going to leave for New York or something. And we learn that first Henry Sr. passed away, then Marcus did. And you just see Indy is just kind of at that point in his life where he's just kind of over it.
As they said, he's at the point where life is taking more stuff from him than it was giving.
Yep.
Which that's a really sad statement.
I mean,
It's
the sad.
true.
Let's say the sad part is that it's so true.
Yeah.
And then Indy's trying to get on a train, and then we meet Caden's favorite new character.
Ah. Sorry. There's a lot of characters, and I'm like, which one? Mutt was his name. I never wrote down his last name.
Mutt Williams.
Mutt Williams. And he is played by Shia LaBeouf.
1 year after Transformers.
Yeah. And so Mutt, he's a greaser.
Mm-hmm.
This rough and tough kind of guy, but he's actually really smart. And I like that because he's not just some of the sidekicks that are just, oh, Indy, watch out. Indy, no, don't do that. Indy! Indy! No,
No,
instead he actually contributes. He's like, "Hey, I can read what this one word is, even though it's in 14 different languages that aren't English."
and what helps with that is because, and this is a plot point, Harold Oxley, who is one of Indy's friends from college and stuff, helped raise Mutt.
Yes.
And so like Harold would like read to him and all this other stuff. So he knows archaeology stuff. And so they go back to a diner and they have a discussion and Mutt's like, "Hey, somebody's kidnapped the ox. My mom's gone missing. My mom said you can help us." And so they're at the diner and they're talking about this letter and everything. And Mutt says it doesn't make any sense. It's not even in a written language, like it's like a dead language or whatever. And Indy notices that there's two guys in suits at the counter, and he's like, "You think these guys are FBI?" Nope, they're Russians.
Specifically, I love how Indy goes, "Think they're FBI? Nope, KGB."
Yeah, because they say something. He's like, "Make that KGB."
Yeah, it's such a funny comment. I
and
don't know why.
and then so Mutt is very much like a hothead. Like he tries to prove how tough he is and stuff.
Yeah, there are several instances just in the diner where he tries to fight Indy.
Yeah, and it's so funny to watch. It's like such little man syndrome.
Because realistically, Indy could lay Mutt out so quickly.
At this point in his life, yes. um, and so he pulls out his switchblade, and he's like, "Nice try, kid. I think you just brought a knife to a gunfight." And so they're like, "Okay, we'll go quietly." And then Indy's like, "Hey, punch this guy." Like, "What? Punch this guy." So he does, and then then the girl's like, "That's my boyfriend," and just knocks him.
Punches him. The boyfriend gets back up, grabs Mutt, punches him again, and Mutt goes flying into a bunch of other greasers.
And then, as you would expect, a classic 50s diner fight happens.
Specifically amongst greasers and football players.
Playing to Rock Around the Clock Tonight. And then Indy and Mutt escape, and then this motorcycle chase sequence starts. Wow, I don't make fun of your speech impediments.
You're right, you don't. But you could.
Caden, what are your thoughts on this motorcycle chase sequence?
This is one of the sequences that I saw that made me fully believe in the fact that, oh, action sequences in this movie, they last longer, they are better than in previous movies, and it's more it's more. We'll just say it's more.
More intricate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like Indy gets like pulled into a car off the back of a motorcycle, and he jumps out the other window back onto the motorcycle.
It goes through several fields, several tunnels, even through a library.
Yeah, the ending of the library. This nerd, because he's an unknown nerd. He's obviously a nerd. He has like a stack of like 10, 15 books in his hands. And
He's
Mutt's
like-
just yelling at people, just like, "Get out of the way, get out of the way!" And this guy just lowers the books and just does a Wilhelm scream. And then they just like start and they avoid this guy by doing a power slide underneath the tables.
And they stop right at one of Indiana's old students because,
Mhm.
he's still resigned.
Mhm.
And he's like, Professor Jones, how do I solve this question? And Indiana's just like, you don't. Look up whatever the guy whose name was. He did a lot of field research.
Yeah, he pretty much tells the guy, if you want to be a good archaeologist, you got to
gotta
get
get
out
out
of the
there.
library.
Yeah. But I was thinking about this. A good way they could have done the bike sequence, which I know wouldn't have been realistic, is if they didn't stop at that guy and instead Mutt like picked back up the bike from the momentum and Indy just kind of jumped back on, like going from a slide to a jump.
Gotcha.
I think that would have been cool to see.
That would have been. They definitely would have had to change the layout of that library for that stunt to work.
I mean, not really, because
Mm,
you got to think they were sliding with the bike parallel to the length of the tables.
that's true.
So if Mutt just would have picked up the bike, he could have just drove out from the row of tables and then out the door.
Yeah, that's true.
It definitely would have been cool to see. Practical? Yeah. Realistic? No.
um, then we end up at Indy's house, and they're doing research on the letter, and then we realize that it is in and we realize it is in a dead language, and it's a riddle.
We love riddles.
And the riddle is, if you follow the lines that only the gods can read, will lead lead you to Oriana's resting place.
Oriana's cradle.
Oriana's cradle. And he realizes that this riddle talks about the Nazca lines, because they're giant drawings on the earth, and from the sky they make out pictures.
Yeah.
And so we realize that the crystal skull is in Nazca, Peru. And so then we get the classic Indiana Jones travel montage.
Where it's just a plane in the background flying over a map.
That's right.
There's
And
nothing wrong with that.
no, I definitely think they didn't do it as good in the Dial of Destiny, though. They definitely used way too much CGI
Yeah.
in that sequence. So this is the last good one. And we arrive in Nazca, Peru, and Indy finds out that Ox was held in a local sanitarium. And as they're walking through town, Mutt and Indy pretty much just get to know each other. He talks about how Mutt like quit school and everything, and he's a motorcycle mechanic now and everything. And Indy asks why he quit, and he's like, he did one jiving with it. That's like the best way to describe it without getting into like the script.
Yeah. Which, realistically, thinking about it, a motorcycle mechanic back then probably would have made a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Because you got to think, a lot of greasers drove
Mhm.
bikes. There were a lot of biker gangs even then.
Mm-hmm.
And I could only assume bikes themselves weren't all that difficult to fix. So Mutt probably could have charged under the normal rate to fix the bike.
Yeah.
And still made a profit.
Oh yeah, probably.
And that's the part that really matters.
Yep. And so they get to the sanitarium. They get to Ox's cell, and it is, let's just say, artistic.
It looks kind of like a Van Gogh almost because Van Gogh had dementia or schizophrenia,
I forget.
one or the other, and his drawings as his life went on started to represent that more and more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how this cell looked like. Just random scribblings, different words in a bunch of different languages. Pretty much stuff that to the average person would not make sense.
Yeah. And so it has return on the walls in different languages. There's like etchings of the skull. And then Indy happens to notice that there's someone on the floor, and so he sweeps the floor, and it's like a map of a graveyard. And he goes into how in the 1500s, Francesca de Oriana, who was a conquistador, looked for the crystal skull and tried to find Akator, which is where it came from. The Akator being quote unquote El Dorado.
Yeah. Pretty much just a city full of gold.
And the legend says if you return the skull to the city temple, you'll gain control over its power. And so, what am I saying here? The drawing on the floor.
Yeah.
Indy notices that it's a graveyard near them, and he says, "I guess Harold Oxley found out where he's buried." So they go there. Caden, talk about your favorite new characters.
No, you came up with them. You talk about them.
Okay. I'm trying to give you the fun stuff.
Fine. So, I wrote it down. Where did I write it? Somewhere in my book. Groundhogs? That's not it. Super Fridge? We're past that. Yes. The Graveyard Ninjas. Oh. Oh no. There they go. So pretty much they're Mayans? It doesn't really say what they are. But
no, I'm not really sure entirely what they are.
But I would assume with context clues later on in the movie that there's some form of Mayan.
Yeah.
These guys are monkeys with how fast they're moving around. They're doing flips. They're swinging on stuff.
They like blow darts and stuff.
The best way I can say is that they are rat monkey people because there are holes all over this graveyard. You see them dart in and out of these holes, doing front flips, back flips, leg sweeps on Indiana, blowing blow darts at Indy and Mutt, and he's just, who's gonna be able to stand up to that, huh? A guy that survived 2 world wars and a greaser that's so hot-headed he tries to stab everyone that gets in his way. No! What makes it worse is that their blow darts are poison. How do you find that out? Oh, you get shot by one and then you're dead.
I love how you just described the graveyard ninjas.
Shut up. Shut up.
But
Shut up.
I know you wrote something down before that.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay,
I'm glad you brought this
before
up.
we start. I just want you guys to know, Mutt is a punching bag in this movie.
But he takes it like a champ.
Yeah. So like my entire theory is after Transformers, Paramount's just like, hey, here's an actor we can beat the crap out of and he'll take it because it looks good on camera. Let's put him in Indiana Jones movie.
So in the scene, they get to the graveyard and they're looking around, and Mutt finds a wooden ladder, and I wrote it down word for word. What happens is he ends up climbing down the ladder, second foot on the second step, and he falls through the whole thing. And it's this way down. Ah! And then Indy, being the wisecracker that he is,
Just goes down the stairs.
yeah, he goes down the stairs, looks at Mutt, points back to the stairs, and he's like, that way up.
These two have such great chemistry in this movie.
They do, and I love it.
Honestly, I think the thing that helps Mutt is Shia LaBeouf's comedic timing.
Which that kind of makes me wonder, knowing Shia LaBeouf and how he performed on Transformers, he did a lot of improv.
Oh yeah,
Which I kind of wonder if that's the same here.
maybe because I feel like those two would like bounce off stuff off of each other and just see if it would work.
Oh, absolutely.
Because like you're standing here like with one of the great '80s action heroes.
Oh yeah.
like, hey, you want to like throw some one-liners back at each other? You want to see like what works, bro? Like, you want to try it?
Sure.
Like 60-year-old Harrison Ford just taking one-liners from this 20-year-old.
What? Something's got to be funny eventually.
Hey, that's where all the that's that deleted footage gold right there. All the stuff they had on camera that didn't work. But they head into the cemetery, like the inner, like probably and he calls it an antechamber or whatever.
Something like that.
And they're trying to find a hidden door. Indy finds it, and Mutt like walks into like this casket or whatever, and a bunch of scorpions just start coming out of it. They like crawl up on his legs and stuff, and he just like starts swatting at them, and he like gets bit on his hand by one. He looks like he's dancing, and
He's just freaking out.
Indy's like, dance on your own time, will ya?
And he's like, I got bit by a scorpion. I'm like, and Indy's like, how big? Pretty big. Ah, you're fine. The bigger they are, the less there is to worry about.
And in actuality, it was not a very big scorpion, so
Which that kind of makes me wonder, is that true?
I'll tell you what, I'll let you find out and you get back to me.
like a real life test? No. No, thank you.
I don't know. It sounds like you're pretty willing to do it.
Here we go. Ah. It's true.
Hey.
Smaller scorpions are generally more dangerous and venomous than larger, fatter clawed counterparts.
Oh.
Interesting.
So does that mean rad scorpions are your best bet?
If we're taking real life into account, red scorpions would do nothing to you.
Their claws are so big they can't even like go into you. They just go around you.
It's not poison though, it's radiation.
It's just a microwave with legs. It's all fine, ladies and gentlemen. It's fine.
Oh, brother.
But they go through a hallway and they have like this like tilting room they go through or whatever. It doesn't last very long. And they get to the bodies. Indy opens one up with Mutt's knife and it's perfectly preserved. Then like 2 seconds later he just like turns to dust.
The air does not agree with the body.
Nope.
Which is interesting because that body has been on there for what, 500 years?
200-300 years, yeah.
And the animation for that
was flawless.
I know. Like before I even knew what was happening, it had already transformed into a partial skeleton. I'm like, what?
That had to have been practical. They just had it. They probably just did chemicals or something on it. I'm not entirely sure.
I don't know. I could see it being CGI.
I'm sure the easiest solution would be CGI.
Absolutely.
But I feel like they would at least attempt it in practical at once. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See if they could do it. Then they get to one of the mummified remains. It's already been opened.
Yes.
And it is Oriana. And
he's got a nice mask.
It has a solid gold mask because they called him the Gilded Man because his lust for gold was legendary.
Insatiable, even.
And so whoever was there like left all the artifacts, all the gold, all the treasure. And so Indy was messing around with some of the gold coins and they just flew out of his hand and they went behind him.
Behind
the corpse.
Yes.
And so Indy grabs it and he literally just like
tosses it on the Mutt and he's like, hold this.
And then he finds the crystal skull behind him and the coins magnetize to it.
And this was something that really made me understand, like, oh, dang, Mike kind of is smart. Because the conversation is Indy says crystals aren't magnetic. Mutt responds, neither is gold. That I don't think that's something a lot of people would know.
I would hope at some point some of that is common knowledge, but whatever.
I mean the gold part. I'm not talking about. Obviously, a lot of people are gonna know that a crystal isn't magnetized unless you smack a magnet in the middle of it.
I don't trust the education system these days.
I never trusted the education system. Now look how I turned out.
But they pack up the skull and they walk outside and
Nazis. Oh no. My bad. I'm so used to saying that for Indiana Jones movies. No, it's the communists, the KGB.
and
Forgive me.
Mac.
Yeah. It, it's Mac.
I'll let you handle Mac's story arc later.
What story arc?
Shh.
Yeah.
He's the best written character and you know it.
No.
But they're taken to the Amazon and we're at a Russian camp party
Sounds a celebratory party of some sort.
and Indy's strapped to a chair and he threatens to break Mac's nose if he ever gets out. And Mac tells him that, like, hey, you need to help us. Maybe they'll let you go. And so Spalko comes in and she's like, see, you're here to help us once again. And then he's like, you know me, always happy to help. And so they bring in Ox.
You know what we forgot to mention?
Hmm.
Spalko is a wannabe psychic.
Yeah, that's because Stalin likes psychic science,
Yes.
and that's what she's into.
Which is I don't think we mentioned, but she tries to read
Indy's mind.
at the very beginning when they first met. And she's like, "Oh, you're a very hard man to read, Indy."
She just like slaps him in the face.
He's just laughing at her. From what I remember.
Yeah, he's like, ouch.
No, I'm
Well,
not.
like, cause like anything that like kind of challenges his belief, he just kind of like scoffs at it.
Until it's staring him in the face that it's true.
Yeah, maybe.
And even then, he's still skeptical.
I mean, when you've seen magical things, I guess you gotta be skeptical about some others.
Everything.
Oh,
is that the might of God smiting those before me to keep his presence known? I'm still kind of skeptical on him.
I think it was an acid trip. The Nazis were never there.
Me and this lady just somehow ended up on this random island in the middle of nowhere.
Yep. All fake.
Sounds about right.
It's a Matrix and we know it.
Shut up.
But Ox has been so there's a psychic kind of connection between that the skull can have on somebody that it wants to quote unquote speak to. That they worded it. And Ox just kind of like fried
he fried his brain trying to communicate with this crystal skull, and he's dumb as a box of rocks, to put it nicely.
I wouldn't say he's dumb as a box of rocks.
No, he is.
The
most he can say is, in my headcanon, the most he can say is whatever the skull is telling him.
Yeah.
Other than that, he has no idea what's going on.
Nope.
But
in the immortal words, he's tripping balls.
I think now is where we should introduce the fact of what the crystal skull really is.
It is the skeleton of an interdimensional being.
Yeah.
It's essentially a little green man from space.
You were wrong. Extra dimensional.
It's one of the two. They were like, oh, it's not a little green man from space, but what did it end up looking like?
A little gray man from
Space.
space.
And what did this spaceship look like?
Spaceship.
It was the Millennium Falcon. Oh wait, no. It's a flying saucer.
Which I want to correct you on the little green man.
Sorry,
They are
it's
neither,
a tall green man.
Yeah, I was gonna say they are neither little nor green.
Tall yellowish green man. Ish. With glowing green eyes.
I would say they're about 8 to 9 feet tall.
Oh yeah.
They are gigantic, which makes me think that the one that we see in the tent is like adolescent.
Maybe. But like, yeah, they just like go for it. Even though that was like the one thing they were trying to avoid. I think it's so hilarious that it's what they end up with.
Which, I mean, fair enough.
Hey, at least he wasn't wearing like a little spaceman suit with like antennae or something. The claw.
We come in peace. Take us to your leader. No? Okay.
We'll leave now. Like these creatures are far too intelligent for us.
They want to speak diplomacy with us. We can't have that.
That or it's just Kang and Kodos from The Simpsons. Kneel before me, human with my board. Run away, he's got a board with a nail. Oh God. But they set Indy in front of the skull, and he taps into it, but he doesn't like fry in front of it.
Probably because he didn't stare at it as long as Ox did.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, Mac was like, okay, I think he's had enough. Cover the skull.
The first nice thing he's done.
Yeah.
And then Mac goes over and to open up his handcuffs. Hey, what happens?
Indy breaks Mac's nose.
He's just like, I told you.
Yeah, Mac is like, oh, my nose. And he's just, I told you. Like that he did. He did tell you,
Hey,
Mac.
at least he's honest. That's like the one thing we can get behind here.
Yeah, for the most part.
Then they take him outside, and we realize they got Mutt as prisoner. They left his bike, which is what he's upset about.
Understandable.
Hey, that was an Indian bike. Those are worth something, man.
Yeah.
And we realize who Mutt's mother is.
Who?
Marion Ravenwood, the lady from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
And I had to confirm with Logan that that's who it actually was.
He's like, is that Marion, man?
Well, I heard the name, but I'm like, is that the lady from the tavern?
I was like, yep.
I'm like, okay.
And Indy's just like not processing this because Mutt's like, Mom. He's like, Mom. He's like, Marion Ravenwood is your mother. And they're like, yes. He's like, Marion Ravenwood is your mother. And Marion's all like, I had a great life after you left, you know. And Indy's like, well, so have I. Definitely not a mating ritual of any form at all. Of them two just yelling at each other. Because, you know, it wasn't like that in the first movie at all. But then they threaten Marion, so Indy talks to Ox, and Indy learns that he's doing auto writing. So they just put paper in front of him and they let him draw, and they start to make a map. I'm I don't.
We're not going over
No.
the symbols and their meanings. We would have to rewatch the entire movie to try and figure out.
Yeah, go watch the movie if you want to know what he says.
There's something about snakes, a sunrise, a river going over the sunrise. There was more to it, but
Yeah.
I can't be bothered to remember.
And you start putting a tag in front of our episodes. Listening to the Real Bros podcast does not substitute for actually watching a film. For your full experience, go watch the film yourself.
For the full experience, visit www.movienames/rg.com.
Or just, hey,
Get the movie.
yeah. And Mutt takes the opportunity and he like knocks their desk over and like shoves them on the ground and like starts a fire and they run away.
Pretty
And
smart of him, honestly.
I mean, honestly, yeah. It's definitely, I'm not going to say anything just yet, but Indy and Marion run into a dry sand pit. And they're all, and Indy's like trying to explain like what a dry sand pit is and everything. And Marion's like, we're not in school.
Stop being a teacher. Which, Mutt was constantly berating Indy about when they first met. He's like, "You're a teacher?
What's up, Teach?
You're a teacher?" And then at the graveyard, he asks it again when Indy pulls out again. He's like, "You're a teacher."
Part-time.
And I told Logan, I'm like, if you survived 2 world wars, you'd probably keep a gun on you at all times as well.
Absolutely. Especially when graveyard ninjas are around. They're everywhere, man. But they're like, Mutt, go find someone to pull us out with. And Ox is just sitting there, just smiling or whatever. And they're like, go get help. And
it just becomes a screaming match of the word help.
And so he just runs off into the jungle
to go get help.
Not really sure what help he's supposed to get, but whatever. Then Marion and Indy have a conversation.
The very big bombshell of a conversation. Logan?
Mutt's real name is Henry Jones III.
That's right. There was no first or second. He just became the third for some reason.
Yeah, because his dad's just like some guy who's just never around, he's just always on trips in like the jungle and stuff and looking for idols or whatever.
Off protecting the world from Nazis,
Nazis, cultists, more Nazis.
More cultists.
Then Russians, then more Nazis.
Nothing too important.
Nope. But yeah, Mutt is Indy's son. And he's just like, he honestly takes it pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, he's mad at Marion for like 10 minutes.
For not telling him whatever.
Which, I mean, that's understandable.
It is.
He wrote to her a year after Mutt was born, and she never said anything back.
No. So. Oh, well.
There's now a Henry Jones III.
And I'll let you take this part with the trying to get him out of the dry pit.
So, Mutt returns, and he manages to get Marion out with a rope.
Hey!
He tosses said rope at Indiana, and then we realize that's not a rope. That's a big snake.
It's a quote-unquote rat snake.
Which are not supposed to be that big.
That is a python if I've ever seen one.
Which isn't Indy's biggest fear, snakes.
Yep.
And Mutt and Marion are just yelling at him to grab the snake, and he's like, just call it a rope.
But
call it a rope.
No, before that, he's all like accepting the fact, like, hey, I can touch the bottom of this thing with my feet. Just let me be here. Just let me be here.
He was fully planning on dying in that pit just so he didn't have to touch a snake.
He's like, I'm fine. I'm sure I'll just drop out the other side. I'll just end up in like China or something. Just let me be. Let me be fine. I'll be fine.
But they start yelling at him, and he's like, "All right, just call it a rope." And both of them at the same time are like,
Grab
the
the
rope.
rope.
And he grabs it, and
This poor snake, man.
I know, that's what I was gonna say. I'm like, that poor snake. And I mean, it probably would have killed them eventually. But also props to Mutt for grabbing it in the first place.
Because he's not afraid of him.
Well, no, I don't even mean that.
Oh, but thinking of it,
It's if it's a rat snake, I'm sure that's some kind of constrictor snake.
yeah.
Which would have wrapped around him, and he's just barehanding it, throwing it all around, all willy nilly.
But then, like,
Ox return.
it's like, I have help. And he's just like, thanks, Ox.
And who's the help, Logan?
The Russians and Mac.
Yeah, Logan brought this up. It's like, who are you exactly gonna find help for in the middle of a jungle?
Yeah, like, I'm not entirely sure what Indy's entire point was, but whatever.
It wasn't a cohesive point. That much is for sure.
But then we cut to them in the jungle in a convoy, with a tree cutter. I told you this thing is pretty cool.
It's very cool.
It's a giant tractor with two gigantic freaking saw blades on the front.
Which, actually, thinking about it, with how high up the blades are, you'd still have to worry about the stumps.
That's why I said this thing's not realistic at all.
Unless it somehow rips up the stump as well.
I doubt it, because even as it drives by, it's like shooting out sawdust and stuff. You're not even cutting through that much. You're just, with how fast these blades are going and how big they are, you're just like cutting through butter. So there's not going to be much freaking accumulation of sawdust. There's just going to be like
But it cuts to. It cuts to Henry or Mutt, Indy, and Marion in the back of a truck with a Russian guard.
with Kravchenko, I think.
Yeah. And all of them are arguing.
They're having a family squabble.
Yes. Which actually gets resolved pretty quickly. Because eventually Kravchenko tries to
He literally tells him to shut up.
well, he tries to gag Marion, and she's still talking to Indy. And then it just goes to Mutt and Indy kicking him. And it does the job.
Hey, it's like father, like son, I guess.
The only problem is now they're still tied up. So what? Mutt pulls out his switchblade that he's had this entire movie, which for some reason they never thought to take away from him.
It was in his boots, so I doubt.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Because that's
Oh.
where he like shook it out of, I think. Remember,
Oh.
he was shaking his leg, and that's what it came out of.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay. But he manages to flip it onto Indy's shoulder, which he slides it down his back and pops it out in his hands.
And you hear a shh.
And he's like, oh.
And this is never resolved of what he's saying uh-oh for.
We don't know if he stabbed himself, if he cut his shirt. All we know is...
Yeah, there's like no torn pants, no blood anywhere. It is a mystery. I
But
guess
then-
it's just funny, I guess.
Yeah. But then, now that Indy's free, he frees Mutt and Marion, and they take over the truck,
Yeah, it was like a big truck.
like a military convoy truck.
Mhm.
And this leads into another really well executed action scene. And at this point, they're fighting. Indy decides to fight Mac, the three soldiers that are in.
You got to remember, there's a little incident that happens in between here and there. Indy pulls out an RPG.
Ah, yes. Where? Couldn't tell you.
And he just blows up the tree car.
Yeah, which
Somehow propels the saw blade into a vertical position and sends it through vehicles. Not entirely sure how that science works,
not gonna question it. We're just gonna accept it.
especially
But
as it cuts through engines and they're still driving these cars, but whatever.
but now we get onto the action sequence of several cars driving through the jungle amongst uncut trees. And there are two main fights that technically happen. One of which is between Indy and Mac and the Russian soldiers supporting Mac, and Spalko?
Mm-hmm.
Spalko and Mutt, who end up fencing.
Yep.
Because, something we didn't discuss earlier, Spalko always carries a rapier with her,
Mm-hmm.
and Mutt is very proficient with blades.
Yeah, took fencing classes.
Yes. So, we'll start off with the Indy versus Mac. Not a very quick fight. Indy ends up punching Mac 3 or 4 times and disarming the other guards, throwing them off.
I just want to say the whole Mac thing. Whenever Indy jumps on the car, Mac's like, Jonesy! He just punches him in the face. And then he gets back and he's like, Jonesy! And he just gets punched again.
But Jones has Mac in a chokehold. And Mac's like, stop! Stop! I'm a good guy. I'm with the CIA.
He's like, double agent?
I thought he said triple agent.
No, triple agent is later. Spoiler alert.
No, it would have been triple agent originally because he was working with Indy. Then he betrayed him. And then we find out he's working for the CIA.
I guess.
Yeah, shut up. That's a
Ow.
triple agent. That was a good throw. I'll let you take the
sword fight.
yeah.
I get the funny one, thanks.
Yeah.
But no, they're having like an actual, like, pretty well choreographed sword fight.
Oh, absolutely.
And then
on moving vehicles.
on moving vehicles, driving side by side in a jungle. Marion's like giving him pointers, like it's one of his matches or whatever. And all of a sudden, she just gets slapped by a tree branch, and it just like the camera just like sits there on her for a little bit. It's funny. I don't understand why, but it's funny. But then, like, I forget what exactly happens, but
I think she got knocked out, so the car starts drifting away from the other one.
yeah.
And so now
Mutt has his legs, a leg on each car, and they're driving through branches and twigs and
bushes.
You can imagine how this goes. This running gag runs for like a solid 20 seconds of him just getting hit in the nuts by branches.
Which, credit to the character Mutt for doing all that
While
still
sword fighting.
fencing. Yes.
And
while maintaining his balance, getting hit in the nuts, and fencing.
and taking it like a champ, by the way.
And he's just going willy-nilly with that sword, by the way. It's so funny to watch.
And like, if you watch it, he's got like one hand trying to cover his nuts and one hand using the sword.
I still want to point out how well choreographed that was.
Yes, it was beautiful.
It was.
And then Indy crashes into one of those cars, and then they like switch places. So like Mutt's now where Spalko was or whatever.
Spalko's where Mutt was.
And
Marion wakes up at the worst time.
Yeah, and so she like slams on the brakes and she like throws her forward
She throws Spalko on the hood of the car,
where there's a machine gun,
which for some reason has 360 swivel capabilities.
Hey, we don't judge. We just say, "I want that." um, but no, she just grabs the gun and she just starts shooting, and then she realizes, "Oh, hey!" And she just starts shooting again.
Which is so funny because okay, so the level that the gun is at, you can't aim lower than that.
So she just starts shooting and hoping that Marion's just gonna pop her head back
yeah.
up,
It's so dumb.
like the literal spray and pray. Like, ah!
Like, okay, what would you rather have? A gun that can swivel up and down, or a gun with 360 rotation?
I'd prefer one with some of both.
With the up and down, you get a little side to side movement.
Yeah, you get at least 180 rotation,
No, not even that. Like 90-degree.
so you can only go to one side. That's great.
You got like a 90-degree cone in front of you.
I don't know. I still prefer the 180, but whatever. I get what I get.
Yeah. It's either you get 90-degree rotation or you get no swivel.
Oof.
You get no up and down articulation. And
Hey, I mean, no up and down works for Doom 1993, so the same rules apply, right?
no. Because unlike
You shoot in that direction, it just automatically goes towards that person.
yeah, because unlike Doom, there's no auto aiming on the bullet.
Shh. It's fine, my child.
Don't call me that.
Okay. And then we cut back to Indy's side of the action,
Kind of
and
warm.
Mutt's just like waking up, and he realizes that he's in an enemy car. And then he just like grabs the skull and just starts beating the driver up with the skull because they're all like, "Dude, he's got a gun!" He just starts whacking him with the skull that's in a bag.
I will say, Mutt being a greaser really provided him with some benefits on fighting.
Yes. And so then he jumps to Indy's car, and then at that point, Spalco I think is on a different car at this point, and then they like start chasing him, and then Mutt gets scooped up by vines.
Yes.
I'll let you take this one.
Not yet, because it hasn't happened yet. Instead, what we're dealing with is the big ants.
That's after the whole car sequence.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, yeah, you're right.
I'll
Well,
take
anyway.
the ants. You take the vines.
Okay. So, Mutt, stuck in a vine, starts noticing, hey, there's a bunch of monkeys up here. Maybe I could be like them and start swinging around. And that's what he does. Just like Tarzan, he goes from one vine to the next.
And if it helps, this is like the monkey from A Night at the Museum.
So they're sorry. So they're little compact, but they move.
The little capuchin monkeys.
Yeah.
And it has like an offbeat version of the Indiana Jones theme song. And it's like, "Hey, Dad, I'm swinging like you, man." And at this point, and now, so Spalco and Indy's cars are like on the edge of a cliff. And she just like keeps like slamming into him, trying to push him off the cliff and stuff. And then all the monkeys and Mutt just swing into him, and they just start attacking Spalco in her car. And these monkeys are just going at him.
I wouldn't even say they're attacking them.
They're just swarming them.
Yeah, they're just crawling all over, and Spalco's freaking out.
He just like grabs one of the monkey and just like chucks it out the window, and you were like, "Oh my god, are they killing a monkey here?"
No, they did not. The monkey landed on a conveniently placed tree branch over the cliff.
No capuchin monkeys were harmed in the making of this film. Now, ants, on the other hand.
Oh, this is an interesting scene. Go for it.
So, we're going to start with some woes. Okay. In the swift motion, Mutt grabs the skull, jumps from his car to theirs, drops the skull in Ox's hand, and slams his back in the passenger seat. And he's just like, whoa. And Indy's like, whoa. And then he like looks back at the road and he's like, whoa.
Whoa!
And he just does a Dukes of Hazzard jump over a log and this slides into like this giant mountain of dirt. And then right behind him is Spalko in her gigantic truck.
Which I want to say that's like a convoy truck.
Yeah. Drives right over Indy and them's truck. Somehow they all survive.
Because when we say it drove over, we mean it literally drove on top of.
Yeah. Thank goodness those cars are deep.
Sure.
Deep enough for the
Yeah.
plot armor to kick in.
Yeah.
And so Spalko's has them at gunpoint, and all of a sudden it's just a giant ant. Just crawls in her hand and she just like squishes it and there's like yellow ooze and everything. Now there's like thousands of them just like crawling through her car and everything. I have a joke.
Oh, God.
I'm not going to involve the whole thing. So Indy calls these things big, certain word ants.
I think you should be all right to say it.
Okay. Indy calls them big damn ants. And when I was a kid, whenever I'd like pick like a chapter from the scene selection part of the menu to pick or whatever, that scene was titled Big Damn Ants still. And I was just like, yes. Enough said.
I mean, they are pretty big ants.
Yeah. Cause they're in swarming people and
Carrying their corpses away.
they're like eating them too, I think. But anyways, like they're chasing them and Kravchenko grabs Indy and Oxley and just starts having one of those like boss battles.
The average one-on-one fight in any Indiana fight.
Yeah, with like the one slightly above average stronger dude.
And then, as the ants start getting close to Indy, Kravchenko, and Ox pulls out the crystal skull, and the ants are like, no, thank you.
Because they just like evasive maneuvers.
I wouldn't even tell you there were thousands of them. I'd say there was millions of
Oh,
them.
absolutely.
Because they were covering the entire floor.
Yeah, of the jungle, yeah.
Yeah.
And Indy told Mac and Mutt to get to the river, and so they jump in the car with Marion.
Yep.
And meanwhile, Indy and his fight are still happening. And Indy hits him with a log a couple times. He punches him once or twice, and he just falls into the ants.
This is a very gruesome.
This is on the level as like the face melting.
Yeah.
These ants just like started swarming his face. They like go in his mouth and everything. Then they just engulf his entire body and they carry him away. He's just like writhing. And then they take him into an anthole and his legs just are just up in the air and they just slowly go down into the anthole. It's a good kill, man.
It's a vacation.
Vacation. Come down to sunny Peru for all of your ant needs. Please.
So, at this point, Indy grabs Ox, and they're starting to run towards Marion, Mac, and Mutt.
Mm-hmm.
God, Marion, Mac, and Mutt.
Oh, Lord.
Why am I...
Triple M.
Shut up. But as they're running towards Triple M, shut up, they start getting shot at by Falco and her men.
That's right.
And
Marion being the woman driver that she is, I have nothing against women drivers
Then why did you say it like that?
because it's an inside joke.
Okay.
She just so they're near a cliff by the Amazon River,
Okay.
and they're all like, "Okay, slow down. You can slow down now. We're gonna be fine." And she just like slams on the gas, and they're like, "Oh my god!" And she just flies off the cliff and lands on a tree,
With the biggest smile on her face.
and it just lowers them into the river because these are amphibious cars that they're in. And then as soon as she drives off, the tree just like swings back up and knocks a bunch of Russian soldiers off of the wall that they're rappelling down on. It works.
Yeah, whatever
And
works.
and Indy's like, "Don't you ever do that again." And she's like, "Yes, dear." And this is when we get the 3 drops.
Yes.
3 waterfalls of increasing size and violence. And each one, it gets more funnier than the last. That's all I'm going to say.
The first one, we'll say it's like a 20-foot drop. Next one's, a 50-foot drop. They somehow still survive.
Next one's like death.
Yeah, the next one's like a 300-foot drop.
Whenever somebody like says like like a waterfall, this is probably the waterfall you're thinking of.
Probably.
It's the gigantic like oval shaped waterfall where there's like 4 or 5 of them. It's the waterfall that I talked about in the production tales. If you go back and listen to it, you can look it up or whatever. But it's that one. And at the end, the car is like trashed. Marion's like sitting on the bank, just holding the steering wheel like she's still driving.
Traumatized. Understandable.
And they realize that the next thing they need to go through is a cave that looks like a skull and a tear, and it's water coming through like tears. This is all like foretold in the drawings that Ox was doing and everything. And so they go up through this cave, and we realize somebody's leaving tracking beacons. I think it's Ox.
I think it's Marion.
Anyways, we're walking through this cave, and we kind of get some backstory on who built the Akator and all this other kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not going to really get into it. It's best just explained by them. But essentially, aliens came down, showed them how to make things. They built a temple, and somebody took one of their skulls. That's essentially all the backstory you really need from it.
Yeah.
It just sounds cooler coming from them. But then we're walking out of the cave, and Caden, what do we have now?
Walking out of the cave? That's a very good question. I don't know. I can't remember. The last note I have is aliens equals extra-dimensional beings.
Now we have wall ninjas.
No. Oh, yeah. God. I hate that. I hate that's what we're calling them. I hate that I'm okay with calling them that. It's so dumb. I hate you.
But it works.
It's sure.
But no, it's the natives that
The Mayans, right?
Uruguay tribe, I think they're called. But they chase them down. They're right now they're at like Mayan pyramids, like the stair-steppy ones.
Yeah.
And they chase them through there. They have them all like trapped. They throw like two balls with a wire on them. I forget what that's called. A bolas, I think.
A
Something.
trap.
Trap. Something like that.
Pretty much just think of a prison chain. The chain and ball kind of thing where you get stuck on it.
Yep. And everybody's like screaming for each other, and Ox just pulls out the skull, and they're all like,
We don't want anything to do with that, man. Get it away.
and then we find another tracking beacon, and they're going up to this other pyramid where there is an obelisk and some sand and some faces on a wall. And Ox shows them that if they break all these things and they drain all the sand, they can get in. And they do. And they fall into a trap. Oh,
Shocker.
oh no. Retracting staircase. Oh, no.
The spikes in a water pit. Oh no.
Impending doom. Oh, no.
no. What's new?
A happy ending.
Yeah.
But they go down the stairs fast enough that they get stopped where like it's safe distance somehow, I guess. But Ox drops the skull and Mutt looks for it, and he just throws a wet, grimy skeleton at Indy. He's like, "Hold this!"
Because Indy's trying to kiss Marion.
Yeah. And so then they get to what I wrote down to be the cool door.
Oh yeah. This was a very
And more of this room, we realize that these aliens,
are very advanced
they are archaeologists.
or something.
They collected artifacts from so many different points of history. And I told Kane, I was like, this is why I'm pretty sure the skull talked to Ox and Indy, because they were archaeologists too. And so they use this cool door. He just places the skull on it, and it just like splits in half or whatever. It is so cool. I'm pretty sure there's like an entire team of guys that built this door. Props to these guys.
Oh yeah.
And then we get the inner sanctum,
Something.
the council room, the skeletons of the round table. Even though there's not a table.
The skeletons of the round room.
Yes. And there's one with no head. What a surprise.
I know. What? No.
Wow, 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 wow. Then we realize Mac is the double crosser.
So he's now like a quadruple agent.
He's like, no, I just lied about being a triple. Just following the money, man.
That still makes him like a quadruple agent. I don't know.
But
I hate him. He's the worst character in the movie because you learn to like him, and then he's like, I betrayed you, and then you hate him, and then he comes back and he's like, hey, I'm good again, and then he betrays you again, and you're like, God, I can't wait for this guy to die. That's my Mac tangent done for the day.
Tomorrow will be a different Mac tangent.
Oh, of course.
But then Spalko shows up and she puts the skull on the skeleton, and what do you know? Something bad happens. Ish.
I wouldn't really say bad.
Okay, extremely hazardous for human life.
Yeah.
Because, it just, the whole room starts to spin, interdimensional portal opens in the ceiling.
Pretty much.
And
it's a spaceship.
Yeah, it's their spaceship.
Starting to activate, and it's starting to open a portal between the spaces in between space. That's so dumb.
I'm pretty sure it's just their hyperdrive.
It's dumb.
But
dumb.
but they told Spalko, if you want a gift, we will give it to you. And she says she wants knowledge. And then the skeletons just start merging and they become one being.
And I loved this part. It was so cool to watch.
Oh, the skeletons?
Yeah, because just watching them one
The
at a time.
progression.
Yeah, watching it become more and more into an alien instead of a skeleton was cool to watch.
And they burn Spalko's eyes out, and she burns.
I wouldn't say they intentionally burnt her eyes out. I think it's just a knowledge overload.
Yeah.
Because she said, and I quote, "I want to know everything."
Knowledge is a curse.
And no offense to us humans,
We don't know anything.
our minds aren't capable of understanding everything.
Especially extra dimensional knowledge, I'm sure.
Oh, definitely not.
But the temple's collapsing. There's a huge water thing that like shoots everybody out of it, like Indy and Marion and Ox, and
Except for Mac.
Mac got sucked into the portal, and Indy tried to save him.
But his greed got the better of him.
Yep. Reminds me of Benny from The Mummy. Sorry, Benny.
Not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry, I guess.
I don't know. I've never
You haven't seen
it.
The Mummy?
No.
Oh. For shame. But they get back, and Ox is back, by the way. He's there now.
Yeah, once the skull was put back on the corpse, it kind of let go of Ox, and he starts speaking in actual understandable language. It's like, oh, okay, no more riddles. Thanks, buddy. Would have been nice 30 minutes ago.
But they're just sitting there, and Mutt's all like, all right, let's get out of here. Who's with me? And then he's like, it
gets dark quick in the jungle.
I can do it. He's like, why don't you stick around, Junior?
Why didn't you, Daddy-O?
And Ox is so confused, like, Dad. Like, Dad. And then Indy's just like, somewhere your grandfather is laughing right now. It's a nice full circle moment.
Either laughing at Indy because he got someone pregnant, or laughing at the fact that he's now a father himself.
Laughing at the fact that he's probably becoming his father.
Yes.
Because earlier Indy's like, this is intolerable. just like Senior says, and it cuts to
a wedding.
One more thing before that. Indy is now the associate dean at the college.
Oh yeah, that's right. Which good for him.
Yeah, but then you realize he's at a different college in the 5th movie, which is sad.
Oh well. He probably got fired again.
Sorry, we have another conspiracy we're dealing with. Indy, you're at the center of it. Not our fault. It's probably not yours either, but it's the government. Sorry. But yeah, Indy and Marion finally get married, and they're a happy family, and they're all getting. Mutt goes to get his camera to take a picture and everything, and a door blows open.
Supernatural.
Yes, and
but
it blows the hat at his feet.
Iconic hat.
And Mutt grabs it and goes to put it on, and he just swipes it from him and puts it on his own head and just grins at him. Like, not yet, son. And that's the end of the movie.
All right.
The probably best ending for the character we can get.
We'll ever get.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dial of Destiny has its ups and downs.
The ending was good. I was okay with the ending.
Yes. I just feel like movie could have been better.
Yeah, without a doubt.
All right, Caden. This has been the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. We got one more Indiana Jones movie left to cover.
Questions. Do you
Okay.
have any?
Give you got any? Give it to me.
Do you, knowing that he is the king of plot armor, think that Indiana Jones could survive Final Destiny?
Final Destination?
Yeah, Final Destination.
Probably. Like the plot armor would just be so thick, Death would just look at him and just go to a different person.
It's like two supernatural forces. It's like Death doing everything in its power to create a Rube Goldberg effect to kill Indy. And then the world's just like, no, you can't do that. You can't kill him. And it just like, I don't know, like, brick falls off a building, hits a car, the roof flies upward, hits a helicopter carrying armed soldiers, and it hits one of their guns, and the bullets come flying at Indy, and a bird just comes out of nowhere, takes the bullet for him.
That's pretty intense.
But that's how it goes.
That is exactly how it would go.
And Indy's just like, oh, it's kind of weird.
If you could, is there any other actor you could think of that could have taken Mutt's place?
No.
You don't think so?
Nope. Especially knowing the fact that the energy that Shia LaBeouf carries isn't just in this movie, but Transformers as well. It was his part.
Yeah.
Like, Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
For as far as I'm concerned, Shia LaBeouf will only ever be, or Mutt will only ever be Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah. Any other questions?
No.
All right. Well, we will see you guys next week as we can.
What's the next movie?
Oh, in case you haven't figured it out yet, because we referred to the next movie.
Dude, next movie.
We are next week. We are dealing with Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Bwom, bwom, bwom.
Lord help us.
We're gonna be hating on that movie.
We're gonna be lovely hating on that movie. We're gonna be as nice to it as we possibly can. So it's gonna be terrible. And then we will do our first ever Real Bros ranking next week.
Oh no. I forgot about that.
And then we're going to move on to another franchise.
This franchise will be a lot smaller.
Yep. Well, anyways, everybody, I am Logan Thomas.
I'm Caden Green.
And together, this has been the Real Bros Podcast. See you guys next week.
Bye.